Welcome. This is the Handsheet making procedure. We'll first start off by choosing your softwood pulp. What we do is actually, when you're choosing your pulp, 25 grams per 8 liter is an ASTM standard for handsheet making and is common practice in industry. So what we do is we actually want to first remove the outside of this pulp sheet that has come in contact with boxes and other chemicals surrounding. So you want to get the sheet, the fiber that is in the middle. This will give you the best accuracy and least impurities in your pulp. So what you want to do is cut about a few sheets weighing about 25 grams, and then what you want to do is redisperse them in about 2 liters of distilled solution. So as you can see here, what I've done is I've actually diluted about 25 grams into the 2 liter solution, and this is a mechanical mixer that I've used for about 2 hours minimum is a good amount. As long as you don't see any large chunks of pulp accumulating in a fairly uniform distribution, then you should be fine. So what we're going to do next is we're going to throw this into the disintegrator for about 15,000 revolutions. Okay, stop. Before you use any of the equipment in JHE 141E, which is the room we're in currently, you should take a look at the handsheet paper making and testing procedures. This lists all of the machines that we'll be using and any procedures step by step to the final product, which is our handsheet. What you can choose, again, I've chosen softwood pulp because it is harder to tear, it has long flexible fibers, but you can also deal with the hardwood pulp, which is easier to tear and has stiff and short fibers. So first we're going to start with the standard disintegrator. What we do is we actually want to set this to about 15,000 revolutions on the counter. You just press reset button right here when you're ready to actually start the machine. So right now I have the pulp that we've that we've actually mixed for 2 hours, and I'm going to place it in this black beaker. This black beaker holds about 2 liters of solution, so make sure you don't go over that amount. You want to make sure that you can actually hear the click. This means that the actual beaker is balanced. And now we'll place it in for about 15,000 revolutions. So you press the green button to start on the front, and just in case of emergency, let's say the beaker gets off balance, you want to press the red button to stop it. Once this has completed the revolutions, you want to take all of the pulp solution, and you can use by hand. It's just plain pulp, so there's no chemicals. And take it off the rotor. You want to take your pulp solution to the semi-automatic handsheet making machine. So you'll be using this to actually create your handsheet, to actually press them, and then you'll be taking them to another press to actually dry them. So what we want to do is we want to take our pulp solution and we want to decrease the water content to about 10% of the total volume will actually be pulp. So in our case, we want 250 grams of our pulp water mixture. 25 grams of that will actually be dried pulp. So what we do is first we're going to place it at the top. Again, make sure all the pulp is out. Once that's done, you have to set this to manual. So you can see the console right here. There are 2 versions. You have your auto mode and your manual mode. For now, we're going to work in manual. When we actually create our handsheets, we'll work in auto. So again, click manual, and then what you want to do is you want to drain. So we want to take a look at the top here. We can take a look at the pulp. It's actually draining down very slowly. It's because of the high concentration. You want to approximate what 10% is. So when the water decreases to the bottom, we'll take it and measure it, and we'll see what our actual concentration is. You can stop. So once the pulp is drained quite a bit of water out, you want to just press the stop button right here. And then you actually just open the lever. And so you'll have your cake right here. So you want to grab any extra pulp you see around the outside that just sits there, just place it on top. Now we're going to collect some of the fibers off the screen, and we'll take them and go weigh them. Now in this case we're a little bit over, so we'll take cake back, place it back on the sheet, and again press drain, and you can actually press some of the water out. Take it back to the balance. So in this case, we're under quite a bit, so we'll just add distilled water till about 250 grams. So once we have reached about 250 grams, we're actually going to use the PFI operating mill. So we'll let that sit there, and this machine, again the PFI operating mill, the instructions are actually right behind me, as you can see on the wall here. These include a lot of safety instructions. So this is a very fast rotating machine. Make sure you don't have any jewelry on you, watches, earrings, long necklaces. You should probably take them off, even keychains. So what we do is the key is actually held in this drawer right here for the operating mill. Once you have the key, you want to reach to the very back right here on this side, the left hand side of the machine. The key is located in the very far end. You want to rotate the key to yourself. So if you rotate the key forwards, it'll enter into calibration mode. If you rotate the key into the middle, it will be off. And if you rotate the key to yourself, so I'm saying this way, rotate the key to yourself, it'll enter into the operation mode. So what I've done so far is I've entered, pulled the key to myself, and you wait a couple seconds, and actually the PFI operating mill will open up. So what you have to do is when operating the PFI operating mill is actually use two hands at all times. There's a green button on the left hand side that requires, it's right here, requires any operations to be done is this button right here. So what you want to do is press the button. In this case we want the beater head, which is this mechanism right here, to go up. So originally when I put the key in, it actually came up automatically, but I placed it back down just for instructional purposes. So what you want to do is two hands, just rotate the machine sideways. Now this is where you're going to place your pulp. So what we do, again, we take our cake, and we want to evenly place. So you want to tear off this pulp mixture. And you want to place kind of an even concentration around the entire edge of the operating mill. Now what this operating mill allows us to do is actually align the fibers for easier chemical modifications. So we'll continually take this has to have a relative uniform concentration around the outside, as you can see there, as long as there's pulp covering the entire surface. So once you've covered the entire surface, just make sure to press all the pulp along the outside, rotating like so. Once you've done so, just make sure that the actual teeth, as you can see here, this is the safety seal. So what you do is you actually just place on and pull towards you. So if you want to take it off, you push forwards and up. So you want to make sure that these teeth are relatively clean, that they don't have any chunks. You'll see a small distribution of pulp, but that's okay. It's fairly hard to clean. So in order to clean these, you often get a brush and you'll clean each teeth out. But in our case, just for the instruction, we'll work with this. So again, you want to make sure that this safety seal is on at all times during operation. This keeps the pulp solution from coming back at you. So make sure it's in the middle. Two hands again. Bring the machine over the rotator. And you want to place, again, left hand, green button. And you want to place the beater head down. Okay, stop. Okay, so once we've placed the pulp in the solution, in the rotor, and we've actually placed the beater head down, you want to make sure that the seal is not moving, so you want to press it down. Now, an important notification that the actual seal is on is if you want to take a look at 009. That's actually one of the indicators on here. It's right here. It's actually lit up. So if you see this flashing as you're turning the rotor, then that means the seal is not on properly. So in our case, seal is on, 009 is not flashing. So it's ready for operation. Now, typically, you can use the counter for about 1,000, 2,000 revolutions. This counter right here. You can preset it as we did when using the disintegrator. In this case, again, 1,000 to 2,000 revolutions was enough, or 2 minutes. So we'll run this for about 2 minutes, and again, so all you have to do is click auto. It's a start cycle, and stand away from the machine. Okay, so we have our 450 milliliters of water. Just place it in the cell. You're going to bring the teeth above. Make sure safety seal back on. Center seal. Left hand, right hand, beater head down. So you want to make sure it's on. Press down. Check for 009 flashing. It's not flashing. What I want to do is a wash cycle button on the right here. The yellow button is wash cycle. Press start. And okay, so once it's done, again the wash cycle, it would automatically come up. You want to take out safety seal again. Move the beater head aside, and you see some pulp solution sitting at the bottom here. So what you want to do is actually again collect the pulp from the top, just place in the bottom. And what you're going to do is use this tool to actually take out the pin in the bottom here. There's a little hole here that you have to get a hold of to lift the cell up. Place the cell aside. And you want to try and collect as much pulp as possible into the bucket below. Okay, so once you've cleaned out the cell, again you want to make sure to shut down the equipment. You want to place the seal back on. Press the beater head down. Press the seal down. Make sure nothing 009 isn't rotating for the next user. And then you want to pull the key, you push the key forwards on the left side of the machine again to turn it off. So we'll push it forwards, take the key out, and the mechanism is shut off. So you put the key back in the drawer. Now we're going to take our solution from the bottom of the mill, and you'll see it's redispersed in about, I don't know, 500 milliliters of volume. So we're going to bring that back up to about 2,000 milliliters of volume so we can actually put it back into the disintegrator. So we use distilled water here, and at least this is approximately 2,000 milliliters should be fine, because at the end you want to readjust the volume to 8 liters to get your 25 grams per 8 liters. So once we have our pulp, here's it here. Now what I've done actually is placed a few metal plates at the bottom to make sure we put the black beaker on, because the sensor up here actually isn't level. So when we use this, it'll help us level out this, and as long as the black beaker is touching the sensor at the back and it's balanced to the top, then you'll actually be able to start the mechanism. So again, we'll grab our black beaker, place it on top, make sure it's at the back, place our pulp solution back in, back down. We're reset at 15,000 revolutions. Press start. Okay, so once it's completed the revolutions, you can push the button, you can open. So you're going to make sure pulp's off the rotor. Take your pulp, place it into a bucket that can hold at least 8 liters of total volume. So what we'll do is take it here, make sure it's balanced. Okay, so now we've reached 8 liter capacity. You're going to place your bucket. It's the mechanical stir. You can use this console right here to adjust the RPM. So you just turn to the right and your stir will begin. So the next step would be your chemical modification to the pulp if necessary, or if you just want to use plain hand sheets, you can go ahead and extract your pulp solutions from here, and the next step in this module will actually be creating hand sheets. So once you've completed your chemical modifications, you want to start creating your hand sheets. So again, what we're going to use is the semi-automatic hand sheet machine. So what I've done here is typically for one hand sheet, in our case it's 25 grams for 8 liters of solution, I've withdrawn about 250 milliliters of this pulp water mixture in order to make this hand sheet. So what we're going to do is begin. Obviously the power for this machine is in the back right. Once you've turned it on, now we're going to actually operate in automatic mode. Before we were operating in manual when we were actually creating the pulp solution. Now we're going to use automatic. It's a much faster process. So at the top here, we have some TAPI method settings, and these are standard. So about 5 seconds for our agitation cycle, about 5 seconds for our settling cycle, and for couching it's about 10. So we'll take this canister, complete the bottom, and on our automatic mode, we're going to click Start Cycle. So once you click Start Cycle, the cylinder will actually begin filling up with water. So this at the top is our sensor. Once the water level reaches the sensor, it'll begin the cycle, again, agitation and settling. So what you want to do is you want to take your solution, once about the canister is about half full with water, you pour in your pulp. So you see the water content come up to the top, it'll reach the sensor right here, and then bubbles start coming up from the bottom. That'll be the agitation, and then it'll stop for about 5 seconds, and then it will actually drain to the bottom. So our agitation is complete. Right now it's settling for about 5 seconds, and you see it's draining down to the bottom. It may be hard to see, but there's actually a very thin fiber sheet. So what you want to do is you want to take off the canister. You want to grab 2 pieces of blotting paper, place them on top of each other, and place them in the middle of the screen. Once you've done that, you want to actually take the couching pad, press down, the seal, and the final step for the Handsheet is actually the couch right here. Press this. You'll couch it for about 10 seconds. So you just wait. Once that's complete, take it off, and you'll see the Handsheet is actually formed to your sheet of paper. So as you can see here, I can peel very lightly the Handsheet off. So there's our Handsheet. The next part is going to be removing a lot of the excess water from our Handsheets. So what we'll do first is we'll actually use the dry press, the high pressure press, and in order to do that we need to take the bottom sheet off, which is saturated with water. We'll dispose of it and replace it with a dry sheet. Stop. Okay, so this here is our automatic sheet press. Now what you want to do with here is actually kind of do a layering of our cylinders. So our Handsheet is approximately the same dimensions of this metal cylinder, and what we'll be doing is eventually placing it below this press and several blotting sheets on top and below to actually remove this excess water. So in the manual, as described before, is actually there's a picture here that indicates where these Handsheets will be placed, in what order, for the excess amount of water to be removed. So what we'll do is right now you need at least 2 pieces of, 2 polished plates. So first, you're going to grab your Handsheets, which are available down here. Those are your blotting paper. What you're going to do with your blotting paper is you're going to start off the first sheet at the bottom. So a sheet of blotting paper. Then you're going to go polished plate. Then you go dry blotting paper. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab your Handsheet, the blotting paper with the Handsheet on it, place that on top of that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to grab another piece of blotting paper, place it on top, another polished plate, relatively in the middle where your Handsheet is located, and then finally another piece of blotting paper. Now, originally these wing nuts are on here. You want to remove them. So to the right, obviously tighten. To the left, loosen. So right now they're off. We take the press off, and you'll see in the middle is actually a gold disc, and that's actually will be pushed upwards to create the pressure for this instrument. So what you want to do is you want to grab your polish plate, hand sheet, and blotting paper mixture here. Place it in the middle. You can feel where the polish plates are. Make sure they're relatively in the middle where that gold disc is lying. You want to grab the top plate, place it on. Then you grab your wing nuts, place them all on. You want to rotate to the right. Make sure they're properly tightened. So once they're tightened, I've set the timer for about 5 minutes, and tapping method says about 50 psi. That's the pressure reading right here. So what you want to do is obviously just set the first pressure. You don't have to worry about the second. Just set the first pressure at 5 minutes. And then what you want to do is you want to press start. What will happen is once you press start, the pressure reading will actually, the gauge will increase fairly slowly, but what you want to do is make sure that you actually pull this black knob out slightly a bit, and you can adjust the pressure to about 60. Once it's done, you press it back in and let the timer run. It will continually run to 0, and automatically it will release the pressure from the actual automatic sheet press. So we'll begin by pressing first you actually have to turn it on, and then you have to press this button. So the timer will start decreasing. You'll see the pressure start increasing the gauge. So about 60 is the reading right here. So we're approaching 25. So you want to rotate to the right to increase pressure. So we're passing 40. Now we're approaching 60, so we want to turn to the left a bit, just as we approach 60. And once you're actually at 60, you push inwards. So then the sheet press will remain at 60 seconds for the remaining amount of time, and any excess water will be removed from the hand sheet. Okay, so the pressure has been released from the automatic sheet press. That's once the timer has been complete. So you want to switch the wing nuts. Take them off. To the left. What you can do is reuse the top sheets, because they're only meant to actually help with the stability of the actual sheet. So they're dry, and you want to take off these sheets. These are the wet ones. In between here are the actual hand sheet. So there's the hand sheet on top again, and as you can see, it's much more dry than before. So what you want to do is you want to place this hand sheet in the temperature controlled humidity room, and again, you can let it stay for as much as you'd like to let it fully dry. So that's how you actually dry a hand sheet using our automatic sheet press. So the next module will be using the actual dry press, or the heat press, as located over here. Okay, so this is another hand sheet I prepared. What we're going to do with this is actually we're going to dry the hand sheet using heat press. What I've done is I've actually set it at 120 degrees Celsius. Again, this is a tapping standard for about 10 minutes. So this is actually a very hot element right now. It's open-faced. We're going to take our hand sheet, and we're going to evenly place it on 2 polished plates. So what you want to do is you take your glove, grab the top polished plate, place it on top. I'm going to grab the polished plate, place it relatively in the middle. Press down for a bit, we'll close. We're going to start our timer for about 10 minutes. So once we want to run this for 10 minutes, it'll be completely dry, and again we'll take our sample and we'll bring it to the temperature and humidity controlled room, again to dry for whatever timeline you want it to. To turn off this machine, again this button right down here, you need to wait about 5 minutes to get it up to about 120 degrees Celsius, but once it's at that, you could run as many samples as you like. So that's the end of our Handsheet making trial, and I guess if you have any questions, you can contact Wen, or you can contact Jerry in Dr. Pelton's office, who are responsible for the machinery in this room and have some knowledge about Handsheet making procedures. Thank you.